Wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth.
1, 2, get down.
What's up, big and little homies? This is Masvita Maraire, host of Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio World, your one-stop shop for Seattle sports. We cover preps, we cover college, we cover pro, we cover it all. Huskies, Mariners, Seahawks, Garfield, South, Roosevelt, Petro, King County. This is where you want to listen to for all the sports that's happening in Seattle. Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
See a bad
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
Generational wealth to me is setting up a safety net for the future, not only for yourself, but for the generations to come. To not have the future generations, maybe in your own family, to have to go through the same trials that you had to go through. Maybe if you went through something hard when you were younger, maybe being poor, being middle class, or not having the money to have access to the things that other people around you do. It's setting up that safety net so that not only you, maybe later in your life, but also your kids, their kids, can end up having the luxuries that you would have wanted when you were young.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio World. Create your generational wealth for you and the future of your families.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo
and your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and ID Yourself
here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio
every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
Do you want to reach out to the Vietnamese community in Seattle? Just advertise in Người Việt Tây Bắc, that is Northwest Vietnamese News, the longest running Vietnamese language newspaper in our region. Go to nvnorthwest.com.
Dealing with COVID-19 is uncharted territory, and everyone has different challenges. People may feel anxious, down, or overwhelmed. For some, these feelings can lead to changes in sleep patterns, an increased use of alcohol or drugs, or withdrawing from the people around them. If you know someone who's having a hard time coping, you can help by reaching out to talk and listen. To learn more about how you can help someone in need, call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK. Brought to you by the state of Washington.
Почти никто не будет спорить, что дороги в нашем штате могут стать более безопасными, если при вождении телефоны будут вне досягаемости. Но сделать это не так просто, поэтому подайте пример. Уберите телефон в бардачок и переключите его в режим «Не беспокоить» и попросите родных и друзей сделать то же самое. Потому что, когда каждый из нас внесет свою лепту в это общее дело, дороги станут более безопасными для всех. Мы можем добиться этого только совместными усилиями. Это было сообщение от Комиссии по безопасности на транспорте штата Вашингтон.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio World. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not helping bad girls set up their websites, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
Generational wealth to me means to provide and establish wealth for generations to come, whether it be through real estate or through other equitable funding, stocks, bonds, But first of all, I think that general wealth starts with securing property.
Okay.
All right.
This campaign to create awareness to
Can you hear
generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's
Eddie, can you hear
Generational
that?
Wealth
Can you
Initiative,
hear
the
me?
Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio .org. Create your generational wealth for you and the future of your families.
John, press the pause button.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not stopping a Mercer Island street
sorry,
brawl,
where?
I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Oh, I got you.
我哋大家都同意
Right here,
喺華
okay,
盛
I
頓
see. Okay, all right. All right. All right. Here we go.
Welcome to the 40th, 40th celebration of this walk and march and rally. Joining me, you heard him all football season. I don't know if I should call you Jay Yeezy today, but
Whatever. Whatever works.
Yasutake the elder, John Yasutake, coach. How you doing, John?
Fine, fine. Welcome on MLK Day, which was many years in the making, and we're honored to have one of the principal movers and shakers of that movement in the state, as well as you might as well say nationally. His face and his likeness is known across the country, and I'm talking about the one and only Eddie Ride Jr.
Eddie Ride Jr.
Yep.
I was wondering who you was talking about.
But thank you, Eddie, for taking the time. We got to run this real quick.
You know,
And
Louis
so,
Measles, you gotta say
yeah, we
hi
got,
to Louis.
yeah, Louis.
He got the chicken wings for tonight.
Yes. Happy MLK Day, Mr. Louis Rudd. Hey, Eddie, I just wanted to grab you. This event gets bigger and bigger every year. It gets better and better every year. We had a number of businesses and companies coming up for the job fair. And this is really the first real go at it since the COVID.
Since 2019,
Yeah? And but you've been in the mix. You've been in, as they say, in the struggle. We're talking about, it is a national holiday. Where do we go from here?
Actually, I think my Angela's
reparations, I know.
Well, we got to put land in the mix too now.
Yeah. Okay.
Before it was just a check, but now, since people don't want to hear about critical race theory, which is the true teachings of the African American, African descendant United States enslaved experience in this country, you will see where we were driven off a lot of land.
Yeah.
And so,
are we doing the?
No.
Or, okay. I think we're just warming up.
But
you ready? Unmute the fourth one.
Okay. Unmute the. Okay.
That mic.
Yeah, that's that.
So, folks, we're staging this. We got a number. There's gonna be a few thousand people in this building.
Eddie, I gotta ask you, Eddie. You've done this for a number of years now. Your engagement and your involvement. What do you see in the next generation of young Black folks and their commitment to advocacy and a struggle that still today, some folks would say there hasn't been much change?
When you look at it and look at the trajectory of half of the members of the United States Congress, there is a backwards effort to move us backwards in terms of our rights. Like right now, even the teaching of real American history, which includes Black history, they don't want folks to know that during Reconstruction, Black folks ran off land that were murdered. Most recently, Rosewall from Florida come up again. So when we start talking about reparations, making African descendants of the United States enslaved our descendants, people who've been there 400 years, it has to include land. It just can't be a check, because Blacks were driven off a lot of land throughout the South and in other places. And I think that's something that we have to really look at. And I'm glad that Dr. Ron Daniels with the National Reparations Association, Larry Goss is working with him locally. So I think that it's something we need to put on the front burner.
And Sade is joining us. Sade, what's your last name?
Moore.
That's what I thought. Welcome. Well, we're the ones who are invited here. This is an event that y'all do. Tell us about what goes into putting on an event of this size, magnitude, and importance in our communities.
So much time, patience, tolerance, dedication. I mean, to be honest with you, the planning of this event takes probably a good 12 months, but we don't start our planning meetings until August. But I mean, and the people, right? The volunteers, the community. We definitely cannot do this work without the support of the coalition members who are all volunteers. This is our third year having interns, and they've stepped up a big bunch to help us with this planning as well. Our community leaders, people like John Yasutaki and Eddie Rye Jr. here to help us with that organizing and making sure that supplemental wise, we have the funding we need to put this event on. So our community sponsors, donors, supporters, people who contribute in that financial way to this event. I mean, it's a variety of different aspects that help put this big event on every year.
Now, this is kind of the culmination of a series of events that have taken place. If you'd like to talk about what's happened so far before today, we had the workshops, the youth event, which we broadcast yesterday. If you want to talk a little bit, share with our listeners, viewers, a little bit about what's been happening already.
Right. So last week, and this is the third year since COVID. So in 2020, we started planning to utilize the virtual live stream or the virtual technology in order to keep this event moving forward. So this was our third year actually doing a hybrid, or the first year doing a hybrid virtual and in-person workshop kind of schedule. So last week we had several days of virtual workshops on Zoom. And then obviously, like you said, our youth event was yesterday. And this morning was our opportunity fair, as well as our in-person workshops. And then the March and Rally.
Mr. Rod, I asked you about this earlier, but with Sade here, again, tell me about the importance of making sure that we pass the legacy on to the youth, and why that is so critical that we share our history.
I think that Sade is a living example. Her and Bobby Alexander. I would mention Kale, but she's young, but she's been involved for 20 years or better. So, but she's still a younger person.
Yep.
When you come down looking at people like me. But the most important thing is that they got involved and they played various roles. And then, it's just a time for there to be a transition made, because new people have new ideas. We're trying to attract different generations. So I think that this is a very appropriate thing to do, is to pass that on to the folks that who are ready to take the helm and run. And Sade has proven, even though the last couple of years we've been restricted from in-person stuff with COVID, but she's kept the ship running. It's been running smoothly. And anytime you're in a leadership position with a lot of people, there are going to be challenges. She's been able to deal with those challenges. And so I really applaud the work that her and the committee have been doing to date.
And in that effort of keeping, to continue passing the torch, my group, as one of the youngest executive teams that has ever led, the planning and organizing of this event, is able to hand that off to even younger generation. Again, this is our third year bringing in interns. First year we had 2, the second year we had 4, this year we have 6. And what makes me so happy is this year was our first year that we had young men stepping up into leadership positions to help plan and organize this event. So just keeping, the movement going forward, with, involving our young people.
She's the first female chair too.
Yeah, right. And she's done an excellent job. And one of the things that you've seen and we've been able to develop is that we're getting at least some of the business side of this area region, understanding their importance and their role in this.
Right.
The job fair, unique idea. I think Eddie, you guys really spawned that. It hadn't been done before, and we started. And then of course COVID hit.
Right.
That kind of put the damper on things. But we, and the fact is that you've been able to mix different organizations, different philosophies, in general, the one main theme is what's equitable, what's equity, what's race and social justice, those kinds of things. The other thing is, I know you say a year, but it's more than a year. It's more like a 14-month.
Yeah.
Because you're already planning for next year.
As you're going through the motions of the event and the planning itself, you're thinking far ahead on how to continue to implement change and make things better and incorporate that feedback that we get from our volunteers and our coalition members and our community members on how to continue to magnify this event.
And this is done without a location per se for the coalition, but the history goes back about 1983, and I think Eddie will remember the first call out. You invited us to sit down at Camp Firehouse in 1983, and there was like 15, 18 of us, and now it's kind of whittled down. I look around, and Jerry Ware's, people like that, the great Jerry Ware, Tony Orange, people like that. Right. Larry's here, Eddie's here. They were part. And the reason why I mentioned that is we are the oldest group of its kind celebrating MLK Day west of the Mississippi, is what I understand. Yep. I think so. El Paso was putting their 2 cents in, but I think we beat them by a day or two or something like that.
But we're the only group that can celebrate Martin Luther King holiday in Martin Luther King Jr. County.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So we're getting ready to rally. There's going to be a bunch of people. There's going to be a lot of great noise. It's good noise too. Yep. As they say, excitement and things. What do you estimate about the march? How many people do you think are going to be showing up?
The last 2 years, we have pretty low numbers due to COVID, and there was other contributing factors as well. I'm optimistic that we can get anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 due to the nice weather that we have outside and the fact that once we're marching, other folks in the community start joining. Yeah. So it, increases those numbers.
Well, the press always plays it down.
That too. But it's more than that.
That's the press. But anyways, so I'm really excited. There was at least 30 businesses in the job fair. When you consider that this has been not going on for a couple of years, I mean, that is a great turnout. I was talking to John, and hopefully maybe we'll have time to talk to John Birchie, who was also part of that. And thank you very much, Sade, for the great leadership. And the thing is, and I laud Eddie for this. He has always mentioned developing and nurturing and mentoring young people. Yep. And now you have been in place a couple of 3 years now. And
I've been doing this now for over 12 years.
Yes, but
as a leader, it's been 3.
Yeah, 3 years, and you've been doing a great job. Yep. And thank you very much, Eddie, for your foresightedness, as they say. A forward thinker, an activist, but a forward thinker too. So, anyways, any last comments you want to make?
Yeah,
how do you support the organization?
Financially, and I will be putting the request during the program.
Okay.
And also, we do have a 57 passenger bus. I'm coordinating with Hayward right now. For the people that can't walk, when they get down to the rally, they'll be able to ride.
Which is true to Dr. King's belief. Everybody, to be inclusive of everybody.
Right.
Nobody should be left out.
Exactly.
Nobody's left off the bus, as they say. So I know you got important things to get ready to do. Thank you very much, Sade Moore.
Thank you.
Prez and Eddie Rod, thank you very much.
Okay.
Spending the time.
Awesome.
All right.
You got to keep talking, John. We're on the air. Can't put stuff down.
All right. So anyway, 40 years ago, we started this march on Saturday, January 15th, 1983, to protest the city of Seattle not putting up the Martin Luther King Jr. signs after it had been passed, and had to wait for 8 months to actually get the state Supreme Court to rule the city of Seattle had the authority to change the name of the street.
Yeah, I know. And I remember, though, when you were out there on what was then Empire Way, and you put that sign up on that signpost.
We put a lot of signs up.
And I told
you, rainstorm.
In the rainstorm, and then one of the business owners there had a shotgun under their counter, just in case. About what? This is kind of.
I mean, I'm just saying that's how deep it was.
Yes, it
that
was.
Much kind of resentment. You know. And the thing about it is, we had people that were acquiescing into them, like the Board of Public Works said, we want to change the street from Madison to where the street intersection with Rainier, because the mayor didn't want to upset the people on the other side who filed a lawsuit. They lost in court. As a matter of fact, they filed a suit about 2 weeks after Mayor Royer had signed it into law, and then they wouldn't put the signs up because of the lawsuit.
Right.
So that was November 2nd, 83. Ronald Reagan signed the first King holiday bill, designated the third Monday of January of 1986 to be the first King Day. And then 4 weeks after that, the Washington State Supreme Court ruled the city of Seattle had the authority to change the name of the Empire Way to Martin Luther King Way. And some people didn't want it because it was State Highway 900,
Right.
which meant that if it went through all the way to the inner city limits, they'd have to put signs up on the freeway,
Exactly.
which they're there now.
Yeah.
And since then, we've become Martin Luther King Jr. County.
Well, we had there was no hesitation to name one of those streets Edgar Martinez Way, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's good. He was a great. But what I wanted to ask you is, along the way, this is an organization that doesn't require any membership fee. The coalition is always asking for support. Please take the time to look at your resources and see what you can donate to the efforts of the Seattle chapter or Seattle Martin Luther King Jr. Organizing Coalition.
If they go to www.seattlemlkcoalition.org, all the information is there about what past history, how you can still get involved, as well as making a contribution. It's a nonprofit organization. The Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle is our fiscal agent. So any contributions would be made through the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle and designated for the Seattle MLK Organizing Coalition.
Okay, we got another guest here.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
No, you're on the air.
You're on the air.
You have to talk first. You have to talk first.
KL Shannon is here.
She's been here for years.
Yes,
decades.
We mentioned your name, and so now you get to talk on the air. So
give it.
We ran out of. Yeah.
There's some business going on, but
I need to talk to Eddie.
Yeah. Hold on. We're going to interview you first.
Well, go ahead. Talk to KL.
Eddie, are you set to do the event history with Larry? Okay.
Well, tell us about your position, what you're doing. You're the logistics chair. So share with the listening audience and viewing audience how your committee came together, its conclusions.
Okay. My name is KL Shannon. I'm chair of the logistics committee. Every year we put the logistical team together. That means getting marchers from point A to point B. We decide what the route is. We decide
security,
where stops are going to be, security, all of anything that is on the ground. That's what logistics does. So that's basically our job for today.
Well, let me ask you this. You're a young person. You're younger than me, and and Eddie, and some of the older hands. What is the level of interest in young people to getting involved?
I think it's very important that young people carry the torch of continuing Dr. King's legacy. It is so important because of all of all that is going on in the country today. The backlashes against Black and brown people. There's so much going on, and it's very important that our young people step up and take the torch and run with it and continue Dr. King's legacy.
Like you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
I'm trying to also pass it on.
Yeah, well, every time we get out there and do this thing, we say, "Where's KL?" Oh, she's up there at the head of the line marching. So that's great.
Yeah. So it's really important. So, I just appreciate, Eddie Rye, you. I've learned so much from our elders. So thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, KL.
Okay, thanks, KL. Okay, you guys will be on until for
a few more minutes. We're on live. So figuratively speaking, if
Roger, I got rainbow. Rainbow. Rainbow.
Hold on, we got a.
Oh, it just went back.
Overdose.
Went back.
We just lost signal. Okay. If I was to ask you figuratively, for us to do something like this out of pocket expense, how much would you say it would cost to give people an idea of what the resources and effort?
They have to raise probably close to $20,000 now.
Okay.
Because the other thing is that we don't want people doing anything for free anymore.
Right.
And the interns are paid, and we want to make sure we have their attention, but also reward them for their time.
Right. We have transportation costs.
Right.
We have facilities costs. All of these things are figuring into. Okay. They're getting ready to start the program, so we want to pack. Okay.
That's what I want to hear right there. Come on, we 40 years of continuing King's mission. Anybody can really clap for that. I appreciate that. I'm your host, your main man, Proving to Play.
And I am Alexis Burrell.
And man, we about to be here to host for y'all. I see a lot of beautiful people out here, some great people I know that inspire me. These are long journeys of me being who I am to be right here on this stage. So I appreciate some Noops over there in the building. I see some Omegas over there in the building. I see some Alphas in the building. I appreciate all of you guys as a fraternity because you guys are, really making the legacy uphold. And you guys was fighting with King, so I appreciate that. Everybody in the building, I appreciate y'all coming out. It's one thing to say something about how much King's legacy is, but it's another thing to show up. And we showing up. And let's show out today. You know what I mean?
And can we please make some noise for being back inside the Garfield building?
Yeah!
Thank you all for being here so much.
Now, I want you, Alexis, to introduce our first one.
Absolutely. I'm going to hand it off to Bobby Alexander, co-chair of the MLK Coalition, to welcome us in here.
This is really embarrassing. This mic is too tall for me. Vertically challenged. I appreciate everybody coming here. In the midst of COVID over the last couple of years, we really we lost our cornerstone. We forgot why we did this event. Dr. King came here 40 years ago to Garfield High School. And it's important to remember that he came here because his roommate, Reverend Samuel B. McKinney, asked him to come here and asked him to speak on civil rights at a time when Seattle was struggling with housing code discrimination, redlining, all the same issues that we see now through gentrification. And really, it comes full circle when we think about what's happening in the Central District right now. But it's good to be home. It's good to be back in Garfield. And so I want to thank you for coming into our home. This is the ancestral home of the Black community in Seattle. This is where it all started for us, and this is where it will remain to be. This will always be the heart of our community. And for that reason, we're so happy that you're here to make that heart beat, and we hope that you enjoy today. Thank you for coming and celebrating Martin Luther King Day with us.
Please give it up for Mr. Ken Workman of the Duwamish tribe.
Ja justobs tidsda at the Duwamish. The words that I just spoke to you are the ancient words of the Duwamish people. They are the language that was taken away from us for so very long, and it's beginning to make a return. And so it's my honor to stand before you and speak these words once again on a stage, openly, where it wasn't always possible. So what I just said was, my name is Workman, Yayustos, at the Duwamish. I am of the Duwamish people. And that's just my family tree. It just means I'm great-great-great-great-grandson of Chief Seattle. Nalturi tuhak the sapa okita of Alkai Beach. If also to be date pasta, Slal Hill, Slal de Siaya Disha Pada Tealo to Wams, Gui. And so, a long time ago, my grandfather, this person the world knows as Chief Seattle, stood on the shores of Alki, and he said, bring your canoes ashore, bring your canoes ashore. Slalel, this is what this word means, because we didn't have any airplanes and we didn't have any cars or bicycles. We just had canoes and our own feet. And so this was how he welcomed people to this place, known to the Duwamish people for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so when he said Guiid, this simply means invite, that you are welcome here. And because Seattle is such a large city now, and so many people come here, so many native people come here, that we say Gunul Chish, because the Tlingit tribe of southern Alaska, this is their language, and it means thank you. So when we express this word, they know that we are talking in their language when we are trying to address them and recognize them and say, it's okay for you to be here. Their neighbor. To the south of the Tlingit, you'll run into the Haida, where they use Hawa for that word. And their neighbors, the Simpsons, use Deutschkom. 600 miles south, you run into the Nuu-chah-nulth on the western edge of Vancouver Island, and the Makah, their cousins, use the word Teko. So you know by these words that all of these people are here. Just to the north of us, the Lummi and the Saanich use Haiska, and the Tulalip use Teak. Right here, the Suquamish, the Duwamish, the Snoqualmie, the Muckleshoot, the Puyallup, the Steilacoom. We use Quiddy. So when you hear me say Esquiddy just to see Twadugwi Hutch, what I am saying is I thank you, my friends, for your hearts. Twadugwi he kwa wala, for your big strength. Twadugwi also to be te he kwa Garfield High School, Aslak Hill. And for your invitation to be here in this great hall of Garfield High School today. And so just as my grandfather stood on the shores of Alki 171 years ago, 172 now, we just turned a century. And he says, it's my honor to stand before you and repeat those words. Come ashores, my friend, onto this land of the Duwamish. You are welcome here. And because the world is so very small, today we say Gwigwihidak, which simply means lots of people. Actually, it means all people. Gwigwihidak. Bak atatita bepokita of squiswat tufted adishapan gwihi, which simply means we recognize the whole world, and the whole world is now welcome. And so this is your official invitation. This is your acknowledgement from the Duwamish people, knowing that you are welcome here. So it's my honor to repeat those words. Agreed with you.
Thank you so much, Kevin Weber, for that. For the invocation today will be Reverend Angela Yang.
Good morning. Before I begin, I've been asked to acknowledge all of the people that are of clergy and Muslim sisters and brothers and Buddhist leaders, as well as our Jewish rabbis. So if you could stand, I just want to acknowledge all of you in the spirit of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as our Sikh brothers and sisters. Thank you. And thank you to everyone, every brother, every sister, every child that made this happen so that we could be together here inside Garfield High School. Thank you. So this morning I've been asked to give you the invocation, which means we're going to invoke love. We're going to invoke peace. We're going to invoke justice. We're going to invoke courage. Oh, Holy Spirit, in our hearts, our minds, our lives, our neighbors, even our foes, our communities, and in all of your creation. For the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did just that. And in 1963, from the Birmingham jail, he wrote a response to local clergy who objected to outsiders coming in. Imagine that. He issued perhaps his most eloquent defense of the beloved community, which he saw not as local, not as national, but as global. A global beloved community where injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We invoke love, we invoke peace, we invoke courage, we invoke justice this morning, for we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, he writes, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one, and look at that child there, one affects all of us indirectly. For freedom, my friends, is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded. That's why we're rallying. That's why we're marching by those oppressed. This morning we invoke love, peace, justice, and courage. For our separate struggles are really just one, a struggle for freedom, for dignity, and for humanity. For in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but as he said, the silence of our friends. So in this invocation, let's make some noise. Let's invoke some love. For love of God, love of neighbor, love of ourselves. Make some noise. I have to also say, we're going to invoke peace, but there's no peace without justice. You see, there's no peace if there's war in Ukraine, in Africa, in Iran, in Syria. There's no peace, no justice. There is no peace if there's no peace on our streets. There is no peace if Keenan Anderson is killed on our streets. There is no peace if George Floyd, Eric Gardner, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, John T. Williams, and any of our black brothers and sisters are killed on our streets. No, we will invoke justice. We will invoke love. On this 40th anniversary where we're celebrating the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I want to quote from Sam Cooke when he said, "It's been a long time coming, but we got to make sure change is going to come. And you're going to make noise, you're going to invoke love, because yes, it will." So let's invoke.
We got to get started. The man out of.
So beloved community leaves no one out. God bless you and keep you. Thanks be to God you're in the world. And if you are fighting, working, and struggling day in and day out, invoking love, then you are making this world a better place. Thanks be to God you're in it. Amen.
Thank you so much to Reverend Ying for that powerful, powerful invocation. We want to ride that wave next into honoring a beloved community member and activist in Pat Wright. We want to tribute him with an amazing performance by the Northwest. I'm so sorry. Pat Wright with a performance by the Northwest African American Choir.
Hello. Let's give it up for Dr. Martin Luther King and his legacy. And I want you guys to give a big, warm applause for a woman who did a lot for this community. She's passed on. It's Patronelle Wright. Give it up. She was a leader of the Total Experience Gospel Choir. Most of us here knew her very well because a lot of us were members of the Total Experience. I joined the Total Experience when I was 10 years old, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am now. But we're here today to honor her, and we also honor Tanisha Brooks. Let's give it up for Tanisha Brooks. Without Tanisha Brooks, this group wouldn't be what it is today, and we love her and we miss her. She will be forever in our hearts. Are we ready, Maestro? Our conductor is Kenya. Give it up for Kenya. How's the tracks? We good? Let's do it.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till the day I die. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till the day I die. Don't let nobody turn you. Don't let nobody turn you around. Don't let nobody turn you. Don't let nobody turn you around. Don't you let nobody turn you. Don't let nobody turn you around. Don't you let nobody turn you. Don't let nobody turn you around. Don't let nobody. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till the day I die.
Ain't gonna let segregation turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let segregation turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till the day I die. Ain't gonna let apartheid turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let apartheid.
I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till the day I die.
Ain't gonna let police brutality turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Don't let nobody turn you around. So while we're preparing for the next song, thank you. So I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to come today to celebrate this great event. We are the African American Cultural Ensemble from the Northwest African American Museum. And today we reopen after being closed for about 2.5 years. So come on down today and enjoy the festivities. And at 5 o'clock, we'll have a little after party. So you guys come and check it out.
Here we go. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe. We shall, we shall, we shall, we shall.
Let's say it again, that we shall, we shall, deep in my heart, we shall, we shall overcome someday. Come on, everybody clap your hands. Come on, clap your hands. Come on, clap your hands. Oh, someday. Oh, deep in my heart. Oh, yeah. I do believe that we shall, oh, we shall, we shall overcome someday. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Yeah.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
Oh, and that we shall overcome. We shall. Oh,
we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe. We shall. We shall. We shall. We shall. We shall.
Hey, I'm gonna need everyone to give a standing ovation to this crowd, to this choir. How many to stand and know? Also, I would like to honor this choir, that amazing performance, with this plaque here honoring Pat Wright, Seattle civil rights legend. Thank you for being here. You performed in the spirit of Dr. King, who was first a reverend. Thank you.
God bless you. And once a bulldog, always a bulldog. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you to the Northwest African American Museum for that amazing performance. Next up, we want to bring up Jasmine Edwards to sing the Black National Anthem, accompanied by Lillian Small.
I need everybody to stand up, though. I really appreciate it. Thank you. She's about to sing something real nice. Sing along, please.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day's begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastising rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading the path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys first for standing. It means a lot to me. That song means a lot. It should be a lot to all of us in this room because we are going to uprise. We're going to stand above and go rise above the expectations. So I appreciate you guys standing for that. Coming up next is from the House of Neighbors, Ty Reed. Give it a hand for Ty Reed.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. Does that sound good? As Proof said, my name is Ty Reed. I use she, her pronouns. I am here with the House Our Neighbors campaign and the initiative for I-135. Wait, does the clapping mean that we're all familiar with Initiative I-135? Okay, I'll explain it either way. I am here to talk about this initiative, which will be on the ballot for February 14th. It is a special election. Your ballots will go out January 25th. If you're a Seattle resident, you'll be able to vote with mail-in ballot. There will be one thing on your ballot, so you just need to say yes to Initiative I-135. This initiative came about as a direct reaction to the non-action that we have seen from our city government and our county government and regional government overall. If you've lived in Seattle for any amount of time, you know exactly who those dangerous white moderates who have been holding us back are that MLK warned us about. We are experiencing a housing and homelessness crisis with nothing on the other side, no plan to get us out of it. One bedrooms are going for $2,000. One room in a house is $1,000. And we don't have anything on the other side for people who are trapped in transitional housing. The city has proven that they do not have a response to our combined housing and homelessness crises. And Initiative I-135 is an attempt to undo generations, decades of gentrification and displacement. This people-led initiative, this people-led campaign is designed to create a social public housing developer for the city of Seattle that would build and acquire housing that is high quality, publicly owned, so we never see our public lands being sold off. Permanently affordable so that you do not have to move around just because your wages go up and down. You will be able to grow in place in your neighborhoods that you want to live in because it's going to be based off of income, not the market rate. This housing would create cross-class communities to undo generations of segregation that has enabled there to be slums in Seattle and luxurious condos in other parts where people are completely separated. We need mixed class communities so that we are able to grow together and build non-segregated homes. And finally, this would be tenant controlled. Nonprofit, public housing, market rate housing all have one thing in common. Tenants never have control over the conditions that they live in, the rules that they live by, whether they get evicted or not. We are trying to build housing where tenants have control over their housing and the things that go up around them. But I will say, like every piece of legislation, it is in the government's hands after we vote yes on February 14th. There's only so much that we can do to make the government take action. So I need everybody here to commit to supporting this campaign until February 14th, following up with House Our Neighbors and working with us on this movement to create affordable housing in the future. And don't forget that 2023 is an election year. We have 7 districted seats up for grabs in November. And the people who will be enacting this legislation are up for office right now. We need to make sure that we're putting the right people in office who are going to support actual solutions to our combined homelessness and housing crisis. In addition to supporting this legislation and making sure that we have the right people actually representing the working Black and brown people in the city of Seattle, we need to take care of each other on the ground. Mayor Bruce Harrell has enacted a violent reign of terror against people living outside with dozens and hundreds of sweeps in the 1 year that he's been in office. Sweeps where people have nowhere to go, where there's nothing on the other side except for congregate shelter that people aren't able to accept. Sweeps where transitional housing and case management are denied to people because they get swept from one place to the next. It is important, it is vital that while we fight for legislative and electoral changes, that we take care of each other. I am also with a group called Stop the Sweeps. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We help people who are going through the violence of sweeps. We support each other through mutual aid, and we take care of each other on the ground because we have seen that government will not do it. So please, all Seattle residents and anybody who knows people who live in Seattle, look for your ballot January 25th, vote by February 14th, and go to houseourneighbors.org to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. One more round of applause to enacting action, not just listening.
I'm telling you, she was hitting the ground running. She had a plan, Stan.
We want to take some time right now to acknowledge all of the very important people sitting in the stands today. So if we could just take some time to acknowledge and have all of the elected council members, elected officials in the audience right now, and the elected officials standing. There we go.
Give them a round of applause.
Any clergy members, please stand. Good.
Now, I'm finna do something a little different here. I want to really give a tribute to the Divine Nine, but we want to do it like y'all did it in college. There's a lot of kids around here that looks up to y'all, and they trying to figure out what y'all got them colors on for and why y'all matching. Okay, so what we gonna do right here, hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm on fire. Okay. So we're gonna do it like y'all did it in college. So I see a lot of y'all in here, and I want these kids to really see how y'all get down when y'all getting y'all education on, y'all still having a good time, all right? So I want to give a shout out to the Zetas. Can y'all give me a call for me? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, y'all kids need to know what's going on around here. College can be fun and educational at the same time. You grow a sisterhood and a brotherhood. Shout out to the Noops. Can I get a call, Noops? Ooh, that was aggressive. Oh, so you go.
I think I gotta do it.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna let you do this. 1 1 1 1 1 9 0 6. He came in here and it just disrupted everything. I liked it that though. He had to make sure, the first had to be coming up. I understand. I know how y'all little competition is. You know what I mean? I know how y'all is. Now, did I miss anybody? Oh, hold on. I missed somebody. SG Rowe, can I get a call, please? Thank you. Now I got another one. I'm sorry. I named them right here. Now, hey, can I get the Deltas, please, to give me a call? Now, did I miss anybody else? Or do we have any Omegas in the building? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I said Omegas. Is there any Omegas in the building? Because I say the best for last.
Oh, no.
I'm going to get in trouble for that, huh? Any Sigmas in the building? Ooh, Now, can I give the last but not least, the AKAs? Can I get a call, please? Listen, okay? Them calls is serious. Hey, to everybody, the calls is very serious. I just want y'all to know that. And you see, it was generations calling it. It's just not one generation. It's generations. It's traditions. We need to keep these traditions alive as we keep fighting. So I want to give a big shout out to all the Divine Nine.
Get another round of applause. Make some noise.
And now coming to the stage is Renaissance.
Should have seen it coming. Hit the ground running in the opposite direction because my life was meaning nothing to those cops with their guns in hand. Pop, 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 pop. There we go again. Got another badge of honor running across the shoulder, man. But why's it gotta be life is valued less than non-living property? Things that don't walk, things that won't talk, things with no soul, things without heart. Object by every sense of the word, got more worth than a life that's absurd. But how else could they own a human being unless they were to reduce us to a thing? Sell it, trade it, made it complicated, debated the price at which it was stated, said if places was traded, then justice be waited. But the coldest thing that I ever did see was to make us think that they ended slavery. But have you ever actually read Amendment 13? Where they made an exception. I hope you're peeping a lesson. The crime clause, the justification to move and arrest them, to conceal and punishment, enslavement, investment, profit from leasing convicts to mines and plantations, the spine of this nation, black belt, southern tribulations, fat cats with fat pockets, getting richer than George Wallace on Jim Crow and politics. And while Booker T was like, just take it, we'll make it, Du Bois was like, forget them haters and face hiding KKKers, get educated and take the ballot box before they encase it. Because Section 2 of the 14th Amendment stated and gave basis for felony disenfranchisement, which was a slap to the faces of the newly liberated because of this whack system, they couldn't change it because they couldn't vote to replace it. Black codes were the new modes of enslavement. Vagrants to chain gangs working the pavement, repaying a debt to society that was never lent shady in the first place. Tulsa, Oklahoma, the first case, a black metropolis that rivaled New York's monopolists with black teachers, lawyers, and doctors. They separated from white culture. It was obvious that integration anomalous, not analogous to the Freedom Riders in 1961. Peep game, son of the sun. Anubis, Akhenaton, Timbuktu, Cairo, Addis Ababa, Abyssinian Zulu. Who knew that the negative language in the 15th Amendment could and would be used for legal lynchings and social estrangement? Like, forget the arraignment. There's a tree. Let's hang them. Billie Holiday's strange fruit, the state-sanctioned ghetto assassinations for those who escaped the new Jim Crow and prison slave labor. Yo, for real though, these crooked cops out here ain't nothing but modern-day slave catchers. The United States Constitution, the Fugitive Slave Clause, Article 4, Section 2, and I quote, "No person held to service or labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall in consequence of any law or regulation therein be discharged from such service or labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party of whom such service or labor may be due." End quote. Is still in force and on paper. And you cannot begin to debate it that the 3/5 clause has been erased when prisoners who cannot vote are still being counted as voters in the states they are engaged in, regardless of whether or not that was the state from which they originated, all so that Congress can have more seats in office. Now, what I'm saying is that I should have turned away because black lives and brown lives in this nation with these rules, these laws, and these ideological traces are not valued on the basis of our being human beings, but rather on the sweat that our labor displaces. And that is why these cops, they get away with emptying cases in our hides on an almost daily basis, because this place that we live is racist.
Thank you so much to Renaissance for that powerful, powerful piece. We just want to take a step back to really remember and acknowledge that this is the 40th year of this annual March and Rally. And with that being said, the next two speakers really need no introduction. The great Larry Gossa and Eddie Wright Jr., founders of the MLK Coalition.
I'm going to go first. Not to say Larry will filibuster or anything. I just want to go first. But anyway, In November of 1980, I was hosting a talk show on KYAC, which is located on 3rd Avenue in downtown Seattle. And on this Sunday evening, the late Freddie Mae Gaucher brought Reverend Jesse Jackson in for me to interview. And while we were talking about this, he had mentioned that Stevie Wonder was having an event on January 15th, 1981 to impress upon Congress to make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday. So he said, well, you guys are so far away, other people are establishing monuments in Dr. King's honor. So we looked at it and talked to several people, and we said, oh, there's a street that starts on Madison and Empire, which was the heart of the Black community at that time. And so we collected petitions. It went on about a year, and the Board of Public Works came back and said, well, what we'll do is we'll change the name from Madison to where it intersects with Rainier, because the merchants on the other side don't want the street name changed, and they're just raising hell. So the late Councilman Sam Smith and George Benson said, naming a half a street for a great man is a half an honor. We're not going for it. So as it turns out, in August of 1982, Mayor Charles Royer signed the legislation to create the street known as Martin Luther King Jr. Way. But 2 weeks after that, a group of merchants at the south end of the city filed a lawsuit. It held up erecting the signs and placing the signs up. So that January 15th, 1983, we said we're sick and tired of it. We'd had protests and everything else. And so we went to state Supreme Court. The city went to state Supreme Court. And to make a long story short, on November 2nd, 1983, President Ronald Reagan designated the third Monday of January 1986 to be the first Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. 4 weeks later, the Washington State Supreme Court ruled the city of Seattle had the authority to change the name of the Empire Way to Martin Luther King Jr. Way. The other reason people didn't want it, and then we started finding underlying factors like Empire Way is State Highway 900. If you name the whole street Martin Luther King Jr. Way, there'll have to be signs on the freeway. And that disturbed people. As a matter of fact, all major media in this town was opposed to changing the name of the street. Why don't you name a food bank? Dr. King wouldn't want that. How do you know what he wanted? We know what we wanted. But anyway, that's the long and short of it, and I'll turn it over to Larry. He can also tell you about the history of this event as well as changing the name of Martin Luther King Jr. County.
Simple subtraction, 1983 to 2023. This is the 40th straight year that we, from the grassroots up in Seattle, Washington, have organized a special tribute to the legacy and the history and the work and the sacrifices of the late, great Martin Luther King Jr. So let's give it a 40 years. This is something we should be proud of. There has been no other city from the grassroots up every year that has been as consistent as we have in the greater Seattle area to pay tribute to Dr. King. And that is why in 1999, this brother to my left, Eddie Wright Jr., I wish he would kind of raise it before I was walking up to the microphone in 99. And he said, excuse me, Brother Gossett. And he moved me out of the way and he grabbed the microphone and he said, dang, man, it's been since 1986, 88, since we've been celebrating Dr. King's birthday. And we thought that somebody at the county, I was on the county council then, was going to start a movement to rename this county in honor of Dr. King. So what I'm asking you on behalf of everybody in here, and it was right here in Garfield's gym, to start a movement in support of legislation formally changing this county's name to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. County, and go further than that, because we're activists, we're community activists, and we want the logo of the government to be changed too, from that jive imperial crown to a truly democratic image, the image of Martin Luther King Jr. And we went to, thank you. We went to work to do that. It took us 6 years. It took us until 2005, but the only people that can change the logo of any county in Washington State is the state legislature, and the governor has to sign off on it. So in 2005, the state Senate, followed by the State House of Representatives in Olympia, both passed the marker to make this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. County. And then after they did that, Governor Gregoire came up to King County Courthouse and signed the legislature, making 2005 to be the first year that the only jurisdiction in the world community had achieved the level of having themselves named in honor of the great Martin Luther King Jr. That's how we did it. I gotta mention that. Huh? Okay. I have to do one other thing, because this is what we always do at MLK celebrations. We use the fact that we have this many conscious, woke people. Don't none of y'all tell the governor of Florida that I call y'all woke, because he only likes asleep people, because he hates woke people. So my logic is that he must like us to stay asleep. But at any rate, we just started a petition in Seattle to make Seattle one of the cities in this country that has initiated a movement to recognize reparations for African American people in Seattle. And I don't know, where's Andra Kranzler? Okay, we want you, right now we're gonna have about 6 people on this side and 6 people. Simply just pass a petition out, and we're asking all of y'all who are willing to sign a petition in support of reparations for Black people in Seattle. The previous mayor, to him, got excited when she was running, and she made a commitment of $80 million for African American. And then she decided not to run, so we lost that effort. So we are initiating another effort, and we think this time, with all of y'all's support, we're gonna get this done, just like we got the change of this county's name done. Thank you very much.
Let's make some more noise. Iconic community members right there. Larry Gossett, Eddie Fry Jr. Obviously, we're here to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., a man who fought for many things, a man who fought for so many different issues. So next up, we have Clarence Thomas from the A. Philip Randolph Institute to talk about labor rights.
Happy Martin Luther King Day. Brothers and sisters, my name is Gabriel Prawl. I'm the past president of ILW Local 52. I'm presently the vice president and the president of the Seattle chapter of the A. Philip Randolph Institute. Today, I brought a brother from the Bay Area, very instrumental activist in the labor movement and the civil rights and community organizer for many years. And I will introduce him. His name is Clarence Thomas. He's actually a retired member of the ILW Local 10 in San Francisco. Brother Thomas is a 3rd generation retired member of ILW Local 10. That's the International Wales Union. And I would say that Brother Clarence has came here to share some of the history, because many people does not know that 7 months before Dr. King was killed, he spoke at ILW Local 10 in San Francisco. And that day, Dr. King became a lifetime honorable member of Local 10. And that's the connection that Dr. King has with the labor movement. You know, I would like to say that Brother Thomas first started his activism in the late 1960s as a member of the Black Student Union at San Francisco State College, and as a member of the Black Panther Party in Oakland. During his college days in San Francisco, Brother Clarence was part of the biggest student sit-in at San Francisco State with Brother, I would say, as a ranking choir member during his college days in San Francisco State, he was part of leading that historic event, which resulted in the establishing of the first Black Students Department and School of Ethnic. Okay. So I'm going to stop here and give Brother Clarence a chance to speak, because I don't want to take away his time.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel. I got a half an hour speech and only 2 minutes to give it. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me here today. Gabriel mentioned I'm a member of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union Local 10 in San Francisco. I think the first thing you should know, we were the first union in the United States of America to have Dr. King holiday as a paid holiday. In 1984, for 11 days, we refused to unload South African cargo to oppose the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa. In 1990, when Nelson Mandela toured the United States, he spoke at the Oakland Coliseum and acknowledged our work, which he learned about when he was on Robben Island. Let me first of all say, especially to the young people today, Dr. King was more than a man who had a dream. He was a revolutionary and a radical. They don't kill dreamers in this country, but they do kill revolutionaries and radicals. From 1955, Dr. King was under the surveillance of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That happened when he organized the Montgomery bus boycott. But I want to share something with you that many of our young people may not know. It goes back to 1952, when Dr. King was a student at Boston University. His girlfriend at the time was Coretta Scott, and she had sent him a book called Looking Backwards by a man named Edward Bellamy, who was basically a socialist. This is what Dr. King said in his letter reflecting on that. He says that while I understand the benefits of capitalism, I believe that it has outlived its usefulness. I am more socialistic in my economic theory than capitalistic. And he also goes on to say that he believes that every American who does not have a job needs to have a guaranteed income. Dr. King was also a believer in reparations. Let me tell you why. He called for a poor people's campaign and promoted an economic bill of rights for all Americans, which included a meaningful job at a living wage, secure adequate income, access to land, access to capital, especially for poor people and minorities. He believed in the radical redistribution of wealth. And let me just conclude this about Dr. King. People talk about Dr. King being a scholar, being a pastor, being a PhD of theology, but more than anything else, he was a freedom fighter. He was a freedom fighter, and that's the reason why he was assassinated. And we need to continue not just celebrating his legacy, but acting on those principles in which he believed in. And that is why we need to take positions against the war. He was an anti-war, he was against imperialism. He opposed the war in Vietnam. He would have opposed the war in Ukraine. I'm going to wrap it up. But there's a slogan long associated with our union. It goes like this: an injury to one is an injury to all. I'd like for you to join me in saying it 3 times. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. Thank you.
I get to share the mic with a legend.
Oh, well, we both begging. But anyway, before we even get started, Roberto Jordan, former all-world defensive back for the University of Washington Huskies, former president of the Seattle Black Firefighters Association, would you please come forward? And this is about raising money to make sure we can have this event to continue in a first-class fashion. And Roberto Jordan is bringing a check for $1,000 on behalf of what organization, sir?
Royal Esquire Club.
The Royal Esquire Club. Roberto.
Royal Esquire Club?
Yes, indeed.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, so anyway.
Yeah, you can fill it in. You fill it in on that.
Okay.
He brought the real check.
Yeah, he
too.
brought a real check too. So anyway,
real
now
check.
we have some brothers here and sisters from local 751. They have some blue buckets. Can you please come out with the buckets, gentlemen, ladies?
I need all of you guys from 751 to stand, please, and show your buckets. Now, we're going to do this like we do at church now, okay? And y'all heard me. I got some tunes for y'all. I need y'all to reach off in that bucket right there, in y'all's bucket, which is a purse or a wallet, and we need the money to keep fundraising for this to keep going on. It's been going on 40 years. We needed to go on 40 plus more years, and we need all of our participation in that, okay? So we got all the 751, we got all the blue buckets around. Can you cue the music for me? Because I want y'all to feel good when y'all giving now.
Now, I also want to ask Sade, our chair, if people can give electronically. Can they go to www.seattlemlkcoalition.org?
Come on, because y'all didn't give me the website now.
If you would like to donate online, you can go to www.seattlemlkcoalition, all lowercase, all together.org, and you can donate there.
Come on, she said that with class. You hit me now. Now I need y'all to hear this theme music. I need y'all to feel good. Reach in that pocket, give $1.
Okay, I understand we have some sororities and fraternities in the house.
Uh-oh, yes, I called them out too, sir.
And they all have good jobs and own businesses and have luxurious homes. They can stand a couple of hundred each.
Ooh, no, you didn't challenge. Did you just challenge the Divine Nine?
Man, I think the Deltas will challenge somebody over here.
I seen the noobs over there pointing at us with their canes too. You seen that?
And then Bobby Alexander and Roberto's crew is the Alphas. Yeah, where y'all? And I know that we had Tony B and
Rainier Avenue Radio.
What's your fraternity, sir?
The Sigma.
In here, so
they were saying it real loud too. I want to give a big shout out to you, Dub, for being here. I see a lot of players there. I mean, y'all in the doghouse. I just want y'all to know, if y'all look around, y'all in the doghouse. It's just not a husky. That's all it is. It's just not a husky. But appreciate you guys for coming here. You guys coming and being a part of our community means a lot. That means we know you guys are a part of us. So it means a lot. But listen, y'all, I know y'all hear this theme music. Don't be leaving. Yeah. Can you guys please move out the doorway, please? If you guys can come up, move up a little bit.
There's our county assessor, John Arthur Wilson. How you doing, county assessor? Lower people's taxes.
See, I need to stand up here with you more often. You know the big players, man.
Hey, well, I mean, that man's name's on a lot of stuff.
Ooh, you ain't lying about that. I hope y'all feeling good now. Make sure you reach into that pocket and give.
For anyone donating via check, please make your checks out to the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle with the memo of Seattle MLK Coalition. Again, for anyone donating via check, please make your check out to the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle with the memo Seattle MLK Coalition.
And I know the firefighters are here because I see the chief, Chief Harold Scoggins. Hey, give people a shout out, man. Here he is right here. That's our fire chief. They also participated in the Opportunity Fair, trying to give people some hope when they leave here. The other thing I want to let you know is if you want to go on the march and you can't walk, there's a bus right back behind the building here. It's Blessed Transportation, owned by Clussy Bagby, a brother-owned business, is donating a bus for 57 people. So thanks, Hayward Evans. We appreciate you. Hayward been taking care of the parking lot. And thank Rainier Avenue Radio and Tony B. and John Yasutake. And I see Roger Evans on the camera. So do we have 100,000 yet?
My bad. I just had to get some shots up. I see you guys is leaving right now, but I need you guys not to leave so much. I know you got a corner over there, and I know y'all see a bucket.
Put the buckets by the doors.
Put the buckets by the doors. We gonna put the buckets by the let out. I know y'all know about the let out. I hope y'all gave. Please give. It means a lot to us for all of us to give because we need this to go on more often. You know, one thing about this is we need tradition, you guys. We need tradition to live on. Show pride in ourselves.
All right, everybody, I need your attention. Since the buckets are passing, I just want you to know the event's not over. We have a song that's about to be performed, so if you would like to stay to hear that song, you should probably sit down. I'm gonna give everybody about 2 minutes to finish up with the buckets so you can continue to pass them. Just wanna give the next performer some respect. So let's please conduct ourselves with respect for the performers.
I just want to get this announcement out the way. It's a check coming over here.
Happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. My name is Richard Jackson. I'm the Secretary Treasurer for District 751 Machinists Union. We have a check for $1,500.
$1,500?
Hold on.
That ain't bad.
Hold on. We gotta give, I know a lot of the unions show up every year, but I'm a retired 751 myself.
Oh, here you go representing.
And they've been coming here ever since 1995. Thank you. We appreciate it. Hope you keep showing up. Thank you.
Now, I want you guys to get on your feet right now for Samara. She's going to come in here and give us some real great music. Y'all stay down here. Y'all better stop leaving, too.
How's everybody feeling? That's good. So I brought a track, but we had some technical difficulties. So I'm gonna sing this a cappella. Is that all right with y'all? Okay. All right. We're gonna snap on beat, all right? Please. All right. With me, please. Yeah. Something told me it was over when I saw you and her talking too fast. Something deep down in my soul said, cry, girl. When I saw you and that girl walking around, ooh, I would rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. Ooh. I would rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. So you see, I love you so much that I don't want to watch you leave, baby. But most of all, I just don't want to be free. Oh. Ooh. I was just sitting there thinking of your kiss and your warm embracing. When the reflection in the glass that I held to my lips, now baby, reveal these tears that was on my face, yeah. And baby, I'd rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, yeah. And baby, I'd rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me, child. Baby, than to see you walk away from me, child. Thank you.
Gave me some chills today, okay? I appreciate y'all giving her a warm round. Now give a warm round to one of my mentors, the first person that seen me say I wanted to do this in my life was Elmer Dixon. Elmer Dixon said, man, come on, man, let me see what you got. And 10 years later, I'm sitting in here introducing him. So it means a lot to me to introduce this man, Elmer Dixon.
I was told that I have to be brief. That's like telling it not to rain in Seattle. First, I want to say all power to the people. I'm about to give an award to a young brother. I call him young brother to me. who just passed recently, Gary Owens. His wife is here, Cindy, with the rest of the family. And then I'm going to say a few words about him. So it says, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Seattle MLK Jr. Organizing Coalition, 2022 to 2023, the People's Champ Award, presented to Gary Owens.
I just want to say on behalf of Gary's chosen family and his biological family, thank you. This was one of Gary's most favorite activities to come to. Martin Luther King meant so much, and thank you for honoring Gary today for his lifelong work and commitment to social justice and peace. Thank you.
Now, just a couple of quick words. I don't know what y'all know about the Black Panther Party. There's so much lies going around. We were the first chapter formed outside of the state of California in 1968. We were at that at San Francisco State University, the previous brother that was up here, when Chairman Bobby Seale spoke after the murders of Dr. King and of little Bobby Hutton, the first member to be murdered by the police and the first member to join the Black Panther Party. But I need to say just a couple of words about the spirit of a revolutionary, because this is what Gary Owens embodied. He embodied the spirit of a revolutionary, and that is giving his life, sacrificing his life without question, without fear. Every single day, our lives are on the line. And Gary Owens was one of those revolutionaries in the Black Panther Party early on that gave his life to the people. A lot of the messages that you hear about the Black Panther Party are lies, that we were racist, that we were separatists, that we were angry black men and women. 65% of the Black Panther Party were women. It's important to note. They were the backbone. They continue to be the backbone of the struggle. And so we stood up for freedom and justice. And see, Gary, when the days of the party ended for him, his revolutionary spirit did not end. See, he continued to fight and serve till his last dying breath. He volunteered in the community every single day. He worked with the Department of Neighborhoods, and even as an employee of the city, he was a people's servant. You see, this is what Black Panthers did and continue to do, those of us that are still alive. And so if Dr. King had not been assassinated that day in '68, we would have drafted him into the Black Panther Party, you see, because he was becoming more and more a revolutionary spirit. And there's nothing wrong with being a revolutionary. Nothing wrong with it. You know, we formed the very first Rainbow Coalition, comprised of black, brown, yellow, red, and white folks, because we believed in all power to all people. And so I want you to think about this. See, this is what embodied Gary and freedom fighters like him. I would rather die standing than live on my knees. And if you would rather die standing than live on your knees, then I want you to repeat after me. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. All power to the people.
One more time for Elmer Dixon and Gary Owens. Thank you. One thing he said right there, women are the backbone of the struggle. Women are the backbone of our society. And so with that, it is my honor to announce our next speaker, Jackie Vaughn, a mother, an anti-racist educator, and co-founder of Surge for Reproductive Freedom. Give it up.
Thank you so much to the MLK Day Organizing Committee for having me here today. So much respect for all the organizers who have continued to put this event on year after year. I want to say thank you so much to the other speakers who were here today and to all of you who came out on MLK Day. My name is Jackie Vaughn, and I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about when I think about the mission and the work that we're continuing after Dr. King's legacy. I really think about the Black women, the Black femmes, and the Black queer and trans folks in our communities who have continued to fight for all of us by centering those who are the most vulnerable in our communities. Their mission was simple. It's always been to end white supremacy, patriarchy, and capitalism. They knew that until we had autonomy over our bodies, we will not have autonomy over our families and communities. And so the attacks that we continue to see over our bodies, we see those continued on our communities. And so they've always been about making that correlation between the two. I really want to bring in the names of those Black feminists who have really paved the way for us to be here today. Anna Julia Cooper, Polly Murray, Ella Baker, Claudia Jones, Bell Hooks, Marsha P. Johnson, Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw, Alice Walker, Loretta Ross, and Angela Davis, and so many more. I want to lift up our local anti-racist organizers who have paved the way for us. Miss Mary Flowers, Dr. Marsha Tatarunga, Dr. Maxine Mims, Janet Preston, K.L. Shannon, Ayaan Musay, Amijah Smith, and so many more. These are the leaders whose work I personally use as a part of my organizing strategy and work to continue their mission. I encourage all of you here today to think about whose mission you want to learn from, continue, and to use to make our communities better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Jackie. Next up, we have a wonderful performance by Jayza Duhan, accompanied by Craig on keys. Make some noise.
Is everybody feeling all right today? Thankful, blessed to be here. This is an honor. So I hope you guys like this, okay? I'll be singing Rise Up, okay?
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains, and I'll rise up high like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up high like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. Sing it if you know it. And I'll rise up high like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. Why? And for you, for you, for you, and for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. Yeah, we will rise, we will rise, oh, we will rise, we'll rise, and I'll rise up high like the day. I will rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and I'll rise up high like the waves. I will rise up in spite of my ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. Thank you. And give it up for my boy Craig on keys.
Okay, I know y'all felt that a little bit. Okay, I got chills, and I got chills, and they're real chills. Coming up next, man, I hope you guys are still here having a great time on this Martin Luther King Day celebration. I want to bring up the members of the Black Prisoners Caucus. Come on and give them a round of applause right now for me.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? You know,
Peace and power, y'all.
You know, first and foremost, man, I want to just thank, man, everybody in this room, man, for giving us an opportunity just to be present here. Right, as we lift up Martin Luther King today, let's make sure that we continue to applaud the work that people is being done here in the community and elsewhere, right? You know, as my name is, like, again, my name is Kamani Carter, right? I'm here with the Black Prisoners Caucus, man, and we're here to represent the face of mass incarceration, right? When we talk about the violence that's going on in our communities, when we talk about a lot of the things that's happening in our community, right? The system is not only killing our families in the streets, but we're also using prison as a way of also being able to kill our families, right? And as we talk about mass incarceration, man, we have to really understand it's like the system isn't the thing that's helping us. It's our community. And there was a lot of women who was coming inside the prison in order to be able to uplift us men, right? In order to help us understand, man, that our community needs us. And now we're standing amongst y'all today, man, letting y'all know is that this is something that we continue to need to understand, is that we need to educate and we need to uplift everywhere. And so our impact must be included in our contribute to our communities. We need to go inside our juvenile facilities if we want to address gun violence with juveniles. We need to go inside our prisons if we want to be able to address the things that are making people return back to our communities. And so we're here to be able to encourage you guys, man, to stand with us in order for us to be able to fight against injustice somewhere that threatens justice everywhere.
Peace, everybody. And, you know, in the theme of King, right, we're about marching for changing corrupt and injustice practices by our government. You know, that's what we're here about. And we're the Black Prisoners Caucus community group. We were the Black Prisoner Caucus when we were all in prison together. You see, we all grew up in prison together and was incarcerated in our late teens and early 20s. What my brother didn't tell you right here, Kamani Carter, was he had life in prison. He's not supposed to be here. I was incarcerated at the age of 18. I was incarcerated at the age of 17 and had a 30-year sentence. I'm not supposed to be here. My ARD was 2033. My brother right here was incarcerated as a juvenile. He's not supposed to be here. He had a 30-year sentence. And my brother's in the back as well. And it was these policies and practices after the movement and with Martin Luther King and what they marched for, in which they criminalized the movement. So what did they do? They incarcerated us, and they incarcerated us young. And so what I'm here to talk about is we're talking about mass incarceration and the policies and practices that took us out the movement, that took all our kids out the movement. And particularly, I'm rocking this right here to be brief, kids are kids. And one of our goals is to abolish decline. They're trying our kids as adults. They disproportionately try our Black and brown kids and kids from the BIPOC community as adults and sentence them to lifelong sentences. And we wouldn't be standing here today beyond these release dates or serving life in prison if it wasn't for our community and our people who push for recent policies that were changed, particularly recognizing that kids are different from adults, which means we shouldn't be trying our kids as adults and sentencing them like they're adults, understanding that the circumstances and the environments that they come from and the choices that they made was beyond their control, and they didn't have capacity. And so our time was cut short, but the message is clear. I want to thank everybody in here who's particularly active and came in when we were in prison and supported us. The family, the friends, the community organizations and the groups. I would also like to thank everybody who's pushing for policies, because that's what it's about. Martin Luther King talked about changing the laws of our entire nation. And politics is local, so we're here to change the laws of our local community. And in closing, I would just like to say that we had to fight for everything. Us being incarcerated as young people, we had to fight for our peace and safety. And so we unified in there. And from wherever we came from, we became brothers. We had to fight for our education and our growth and development. So when there wasn't classes and programs available for us, we created them. And we had to fight for our freedom. We literally had to become our own lawyers and even guide our attorneys and show up in these courtrooms every day, week to week, because there's other brothers right now and sisters that's getting re-sentenced right now that needs our support to show up. And last but not least, it's about our children, most importantly, who are most vulnerable. It's important that we support our children and we push to abolish not only just declining and trying children as adults, but not locking our children up, period. Because our children who make mistakes, they don't need sentences. They need services. They need love. Thank you. Peace and power.
Man, I hear they call him Blaze. Burnt this stage up. All right, then. Burnt this stage up. Blaze is very, very appropriately named. I appreciate it. All right, next up we have the Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown, who's going to send us home. But please do not leave at the conclusion of her speech. We do need to give you directions on how to march safely. Larry, we're not there yet. We have one more speaker. It's Dr. Reverend Kelly Brown. When she's done, we will give you directions on the march.
Somebody's hurting my people, and it's gone on for too long, and it's gone on for too long, and it's gone on for too long. Oh, somebody is hurting my people, and it's gone on for too long, and we won't be silent anymore. Join me this time. Well, somebody is hurting my people, and it's gone on for too long, and it's gone on for too long. I know that it's gone on. Well, somebody is hurting my people, and it's gone on for too long, and we won't be silent anymore. Amen. I am honoring the fact that you have been here a long time, and I want for you to save your energy so that you might march. I am so grateful that for those of you who have stayed in place, so I won't keep you long, but I am the Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown. I am the senior pastor at Plymouth Church United Church of Christ in downtown Seattle on the corner of 6th and University. I am grateful to be standing here as one of the tri-chairs of the Washington Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. And on behalf of the campaign, I want to honor that we will be giving $250 to the Martin Luther King Jr. Coalition today. Friends, I also, in addition to the land acknowledgement offered this earlier today, I want to offer a labor acknowledgement for the African-American enslaved ones upon whose backs the economic success of this country was based and born. Come on, somebody, and applaud. I'm here today to lift up the economic vision of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I begin by asking the question that the Staples singers sang: when will we get paid for the work we've done? First of all, today we are happy to have a day off or a day on, but I want to say to you, dear friends, that Dr. King's dream was one born of a nightmare. For in fact, he had seen that even though there were racial advantages for his people, that there were not economic and resource uplift for his people. And so therefore, while you are going out today to buy that couch on sale, I am hoping that you recognize that the main part of Dr. King's vision, especially at the end of his life, is that we need to talk about insufficient checks. We need to talk about the fact that Dr. King said we need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. Friends, we have to honor that
The Reverend Dr. King was the architect of the Poor People's Campaign because he realized that folks didn't understand, that who understood the evils of racism, though they didn't want to change it. Somebody say, ouch. Even though they understood the evil of racism, they didn't have an intersectional understanding of what it was about class and economics. He knew that in America that we were writing checks over and over again that the government and its people could not cash. He knew that the founding documents were actually promissory notes that apparently had been defaulted on over the 400 plus years for some of us. You don't have to clap, just say ouch. Amen. So friends, I say today, time's up, leaders, for lip service, and time is up for watching people die and suffer for generations after generation without compassion or even a plan. It's time now for reparations. Amen. No more time for gradualism. The time is now. So let us live into the name. Stop bastardizing the name of Dr. King. For we are standing on the hallowed grounds of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. County in Washington State. King's vision should resonate in this beautiful place as we consistently hear about the mountaintop. But we're not supposed to step on the poor so that the privileged can have a better view of the mountain. Friends, we are called to fight poverty and not the poor. We are called to live into his dream rather than a nightmare. We are called to be prophets and to put people first before politics or before profits. Dear friends, I'm ready to live in a city with you that is unwilling to negotiate righteousness and that understands the racist redlining and other oppressive housing policies, that they are more at fault than the myth of the so-called personal failure of people who are experiencing homelessness. And if this day means anything, it should mean that we should be supporting the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, who are at work, have 2 and 3 jobs, and still live in their cars, who are living in places that are supposedly uninhabitable for human dwelling. We ought to be thinking about them. If we are truly to be the city of compassion, and get this, friends, we were the first city of compassion in all the world. But if we are truly to be about compassion, we are supposed to understand that those who are experiencing poverty, the marginalized, the disenfranchised, the minoritized, the elders, and those who are Black, brown, indigenous, and Asian, those who are LGBTQIA, I don't care how tired your mouth is with the letters, you better raise up those who are queer and trans and know that we stand on their backs as well. Friends, if you want to honor Dr. King, you better drop your transphobia. You want to look at them and say they're beautiful, but then you kill them in the night. You better stand up with your queer siblings and speak truth to power. It's time for us to stop saying safe. For if we are called to celebrate his birthday, we have to remember that he didn't just die, he was assassinated. And friends, I just want you, since we called it the Divine Nine, of which unfortunately I am not a part, that we need to lift up his brothers, A in this place today, for he was one. Amen and amen. So friends, and while you march for justice today, I want you to go home if you're a homeowner, and I want you to look at the deed, and I want you to see if there is racist language that prevented Black and brown folks from owning the house that you do. Oh, it got quiet up in here. I want you to look at the deed and see if you may have pushed someone out in order to live where you are living.
I'm not saying it's your fault, but I am saying it is your responsibility. So stop putting as we are living in this place, we have to stop the sweets. And you know what? When people come to this place and they see tents, I want them to see tents because it means that you need to run for government, and so do I, because we need to do something rather than just sweeping people, not trash, but people away. We need to give housing to every person, for housing is a right. So let freedom ring from the mountaintops, and let freedom ring from the valleys. Let freedom ring under bridges, and let freedom ring from RVs and encampments. Let freedom ring from schoolhouses, and from Monroe Prison, and from the Black Prisoners Campaign, and from where the elders live. Let freedom ring. And let us understand that every person deserves a basic income. Amen, somebody. Today you will march for justice, and tomorrow you will work for justice. And I pray that you will join me so that every part of your life is for the sake of justice, not just today. And so, friends, I ask you to join me. Forward together, not one step back. Forward together. Forward together. Amen.
Wow. Wow. All right, y'all. Joining me is the chair of this event. I'm just the vice. This is our president right here. So he's going to give us some instructions to get us out of here. But also, the main takeaway is these 4 young people behind me are march leaders. If you are in front of them, you are not following directions. If you are in front of them, you are not following directions. You will follow them, okay? They will be holding that banner. Make sure you stand behind them. I'm going to turn it over to Sade now for the rest of the direction.
Awesome. So I just really quickly want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here today. Again, this is the 40th year. This is my 3rd year planning this event. I've been doing this event for the last 12 and a half years, starting off as a young person, got involved as a leader, and I'm extremely excited to be back in Garfield, like many of you. My biggest call for action, thank you to everyone that has fundraised, sponsored, supported this event. There's too many people to thank when it comes to that. See the back of your programs, but there is still more that need to be added. Second, we had roughly 20 to 30 people that spent over several months dedicating their time to planning this event. So please give them a hand of applause. These are people who are business owners, community leaders, you name it. This work, I have a day job myself, and I'm a mother, and I'm a student, and I do many other things, and I dedicate a lot of time to this, and we need more people. We need folks in the community to find out how they can sign up, how they can support us. We can't do this work alone. I'm looking for at least 50 more people to join our coalition this upcoming year. So please go to our website, email us, let us know. We want to get you involved. Thank you.
If you're a member of the Divine Nine, please come over here for a group photo. Thank you. Let's march.
Hello, if I could have all of the rally volunteers head to the front of the stage, that would be great. Thank you.
將手機設定為請勿打擾，然後將手機放入手套箱入邊，並且要求你嘅朋友、家人都咁做。當我哋盡自己一份力量嘅時候，道路安全對每個人嚟講會更安全。等我哋一齊安全駕駛到目的地。以上信息嚟自華盛頓交通安全委員會。
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities, and this is what they had to say.
Black generational wealth. For a long time, that's been a dream that needs to see reality. For hundreds of years, Black people have been in the United States and have suffered for it. We built this country, but have not yet really seen the dream come alive and what that means for Black people and people of color. This is going to take some time and some work and a lot of sacrifice, but people of color have always done that, and so it won't be any different. You don't need to do it alone, and you don't need to do it alone, because this is a community work project. It's going to take some rigor. It'll take a change in mindset for individuals and the community and the nation at large. This won't be simple, but that's okay. Nothing that's good or worthwhile is ever really simple.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Rainier Avenue Radio. We are live here at Garfield High School. Things are wrapping up from the MLK March. I have Bobby Alexander here with me. Man, what an outstanding event. Congratulations to you and the team. Do you need that?
Can you hear me? There we go.
Okay. Let's see. Where are we at? I don't. Okay. Are we getting levels? Okay. Can you hear?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Cool in the gang. Bobby, man, what an outstanding event, the 40th annual celebration. First of all, congratulations and shout outs to you and your team.
Yeah, it's a stressful thing, and you don't know when you get here if your people are going to be here. You don't know who's going to show up, and you just do the best that you can. This year, I think we were blessed with really just an amazing talent level in terms of both our speakers and our performers. I think if you didn't show up, you really missed out. But really proud of what we did this year. I think that we honored Dr. King's legacy, and I think that it was particularly strong given that this is the 40th celebration. And I think we did a good job. Despite all the challenges.
Oh, there we go. Okay. And a lot of different things took place this year. Let's talk about some of the events that happened over the course of this entire weekend.
Right. So we started this event with the workshops. The Black Prisoners Caucus did a workshop, I want to say on Thursday night. And that was like a historic event. I think that's one of the first times that we brought them in that capacity. That was beautiful. And then we've had the youth event on Sunday that was hosted by you so graciously, Rainier Avenue Radio, which I think is always beautiful because it shows the mindset of our next generation of leaders. They're kids, and sometimes we forget the high school students are kids, just like Monte Carter and Vidal Vincent were speaking to when we were talking about mass incarceration. These are young people. They're not perfect. So it was great to hear where they're at on such controversial topics like abortion, like mass incarceration, like having armed security guards in school. They spoke to all those things. And, they did it in their voice. And sometimes as adults, we think, that's not very refined. But the thing that you got to remember is this is their experience. This is what they're living. This is what they think at this moment in time. And it's always good to get a picture of that because that's the person 5 years from now you can be voting for. That's your next elected official.
I spoke with Eddie Rye earlier about transitioning the legacy down to the youth and building that bridge and making that connection. How important is that in order to keep this movement alive?
Well, it's everything. I mean, this event doesn't happen on accident. It happens because of the volunteer efforts of a lot of people, frankly. And the more people we have, the stronger the event is. So if you run into a scenario where you don't have that next wave of leaders or those other people to take over for the Eddie Rise, or the Sade Moores and Robert Alexanders and me's, then, you know, eventually you don't have an event. You know, it doesn't happen by itself. You've got to have that next civically engaged person that takes it personal and believes in it and cares about it.
Tell us where the route is for those who may be watching right now or listening if they want to join. Where is the march going to? What is the route and where will it end up?
I'll be honest with you. I'm on a need-to-know basis with the route for security reasons. We don't like to disclose the end route.
Gotcha.
Typically speaking, I know that we'll probably start off on Jefferson and walk around and probably end up somewhere near the museum in the end.
Okay.
Because Northwest African American Museum is reopening today.
Right.
And we definitely want to bring attention to that. And they're bringing attention. Actually, their part of their exhibit is to honor the people who have fostered and stewarded over the MLK celebration over the last 40 years. So it's a pretty cool partnership.
And that is the Northwest African American Museum located on
23rd and Massachusetts.
I think it's Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I think it's Massachusetts.
It's Massachusetts.
Bobby, I want to give you final words here. Anything that you'd like to say? I know we're wrapping up here to those who are listening, watching us right now on Rainier Avenue.
Just to say that, you know, this event is important. And, you know, if you didn't come this year, I hope you come next year. But please join the Seattle MLK Coalition. You know, we need more beautiful minds. We need more people with the spirit of Dr. King who are willing to work with each other despite petty differences. And that's what I'll leave it at.
All right. Well, thank you. Congratulations. Great work.
I appreciate you.
And we'll be doing this again next year, of course, but we'll be doing more things in between. You're listening to Tony B on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. This has been our broadcast of the 40th annual march right here, starting from Garfield High School and rally, which is what you got from us. Remember, February 1st through 28th, we will be turning our home, the Columbia City Theater, into a Black History Month museum. This museum will be open Tuesdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and featuring exhibits and installations by the Seattle Black Panther Party, the Black Heritage Society of Washington, Rainier Cinema Black movie posters, the Seattle Black Firefighters, the Jimi Hendrix family will be presenting an exhibit, the Seattle Griot Project, blackpast.org, the Hartsfield Family Slave Quilts. But wait, there's more. Seattle Black Elected Officials Memorabilia, Tacoma Buffalo Soldiers, Keith Flyride Williams Photography Collection, the Royal Esquires. Did you know Seattle was a participant in the Negro Leagues? They had the Seattle Steelheads, the Negro League Steel Baseball Steelheads display will be at the Black History Month Museum. And along with, check this out, Black History Month virtual avatar experiences. We're going to give you the opportunity to see the likes of Jimi Hendrix, Langston Hughes, Lena Horne, Janet Jackson, virtually through avatars on the stage at the Columbia City Theater, which will be the Black History Month Museum. We're also offering the community an opportunity to share your keepsakes and memorabilia. Hey, this is the deal. If you would like to share your family history through photo, or if you have memorabilia, get in contact with us at Rainier Avenue Radio.world or give us a call at 206-290-9685. That's 206-290-9685 or Rainier Avenue Radio.world at gmail.com so that we can show your family keepsakes as well. It's all part of our history. Thank you for joining us here at Garfield. That's it. That's all the time we have. That's going to do it for the kid. It's me, Tony B, saying, remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. I'm out. Peace.